Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a B-movie review and I'll be having a look at the movie American Weapon, also known as Bloodshed, an American Horror Story. Now, the kind of basic premise here is nothing original. It's a film you've seen countless amount of times. They've kind of tried to add a little bit of a political edge, kind of the American foreign policy and that kind of thing, gun control, to this kind of otherwise run-of-the-mill horror film. Basically, you've got a kind of group of young people, early 20s or however old they're supposed to be, going for a kind of weekend away in the country in a kind of old, log cabin and what have you. So far, so very Evil Dead or Cabin in the Woods and what have you. The kind of premise here is essentially it's a slasher film. Ultimately, what you've got is a kind of war veteran who is sort of stalking these young people, and these young people kind of get into a variety of discussions about basically a variety of sort of political topics, really sort of to do with the kind of the military first and foremost. There's a kind of a dinner scene, for example, where all of these characters are basically sitting around a table discussing the pros and cons of the kind of the American military machine and kind of its political output and that kind of stuff. So it tries to actually have this kind of message. It does it a little bit ham-fistedly, I've got to say. And that's really the only sort of unique selling point of this film. Other than that, it is really, really business as usual. It's a very, very cheap film. You've actually got a prologue at the beginning of this film that is incredibly cheap looking. And basically, you've kind of got a boot camp in the kind of 1960s, having these sort of soldiers kind of get prepared for Vietnam War. And they actually sort of try and splice actual kind of stock footage of actual sort of Vietnam troops or American troops going to Vietnam to try and kind of make it look like it's a genuine sort of military training camp. But it looks so different. The actual film looks so different, and the actual acting, it is, especially in that kind of like that prologue, it's incredibly bad. I mean, the acting's a little bit better in the kind of the main bulk of the film, but it is still, fairly kind of like hammy B-movie style acting. There's not a lot of gore here, I have to say, either. If you're a kind of a gore fan, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. And there's a few sort of slitting of the throats and stuff like that. But it really is, just the kind of the typical sort of fare that you have, right down to the kind of the kick-ass female survivor, all that sort of thing. So, I can't really recommend this film, unfortunately, on any particular level, unless you kind of really want to watch a film about some kind of political statement kind of wrapped in a sort of horror trappings, because the actual film of it is so sort of generic and so lackluster. I'm going to have to give this one a 3.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts? Leave me a comment. I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.